Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm seeing more and more of this AI-driven layoffs or shrinking the job market for recent grads. AI is becoming a major driver of workforce reductions, with over 10,000 job cuts in the U.S. in 2025 directly linked to automation, according to new data. There's an opportunity in those hills, folks. If you're somebody who gets laid off, in fact, I was talking to an attorney recently, and because I was telling this attorney, I've used AI to ask all kinds of questions around, trusts and all kinds of things like that. And the attorney, he was like, yeah, this AI thing, it's getting out of control. but this is going to threaten all kinds of jobs. And so, but there's opportunity. Look, crypto, make no mistake, crypto is going to be linked directly to AI. You're going to have all kinds of automated movement of money, but so it's going to benefit from it. And so I've always said there's always in the worst things that happen to you in life, there's always opportunity. And one of those opportunities is in a crypto IRA, which my partner iTrustCapital provides. I've had 2 IRAs with them for many years. Doing the IRA, I have it in their free institutional custody, and it's the best move I ever made in crypto. There's no better account I have than my Roth IRA at iTrustCapital. Nothing. That right there excites me more than anything, because for those of you that don't know, a Roth IRA, after-tax dollars go into a Roth IRA. But the way it works is when the money goes in, once it's in there and you invest in whatever, in my case XRP, when it comes out, there's no tax. You can trade inside of the thing. There's no tax consequences. And then when it comes out, you don't pay taxes on it. That is massive. You have to wait till you're like 59 and a half. If you want to open an iTrustCapital IRA or a premium custody account, which is the regular account, you can send your XRP or crypto right into it. Go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army. I've had an account there for years and years and years. Okay, the market's still slow. We've got a 3.83 trillion market right now, which this is the number I look at because a bunch of money's coming, so all this is irrelevant to me. I went and scooped up more XRP yesterday, and if the prices stay down or keep going down, I will be accumulating more. It's how I roll. Okay. They had the SALT conference in Wyoming, and this has some of the heaviest hitters in government and crypto at this conference. And I want to make the point, folks, as you watch all of these, that every branch of if you had told me that every branch 2 years ago, if you had told me every single branch of government was not just all in on crypto, but was moving mountains to enable crypto, or enable the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world, I would have told you were crazy. If you had told me 5-10 years ago, and I was here, I would have been like, no freaking way. But we were talking about all this for years, in that we were, at least I was saying, I don't care what you see, all the negative stuff you see about crypto, all of Wall Street is coming in. For all of Wall Street to come, all of the government has to be in on it, and now they're in. I've never been more bullish on crypto than I am right now, because our entire infrastructure of government is a tailwind.
One recent development.
And this is I can't see her name, but she is from the Federal Reserve, which is the final domino to fall.
Congress passing the Genius Act and the president signing it into law has brought stablecoins to the forefront of many discussions. And they're now positioned to become a fixture in the financial system, with implications and opportunities for the traditional banking system, including the potential to disrupt traditional payment rails. Congress has tasked the banking agencies with creating a regulatory framework for stablecoins And we're working with our colleagues in the other agencies to move this forward. It's essential that banks and regulators are open to engaging in new technologies and departing from the overly cautious mindset. Regulators must understand new products and services and recognize the utility and necessity of embracing technology in the traditional financial sector. And recognize the utility and necessity of embracing technology in the traditional financial sector.
Oh yeah, and then here she is again.
As Congress overwhelmingly supported the passage of the Genius Act, these are very acceptable activities, and they're of course legal because we're working on developing frameworks that will allow for digital assets to exist both inside and outside the banking system in a way that is unquestionably allowable activity.
So there's the Federal Reserve. Here's the OCC today. The OCC says community banks can partner with stablecoin companies like Ripple to drive innovation and offer new products. Comptroller Jonathan Gould notes stablecoins offer these institutions new ways to serve their communities' payment needs while the regulator updates supervisory frameworks. And then here is Caroline Weinberg, Chief Product and Innovation Officer at BNY Mellon, who is a Ripple partner.
So I'm going to ask Carolyn another question, which is, so BNY has just been selected to custody stablecoins.
Using Ripple.
Can you talk a little bit about how that process evolved and, what your experience was in the decision making around, taking that step?
Sure. So for quite a while, we've been enabling stablecoins, Circle and others. The announcement, I think, is Ripple, Open Eden recently as well. What we're really focused on is the enablement and the ecosystem. So how do we actually think about this concept? We said there's treasuries underneath. You need bank accounts, you need payments. So all of these things we do to enable the stablecoin. We sort of inside, we call it stablecoin in a box because we actually can enable all these things, and we have lots of partners around that do much of the pieces as well. And together, what's important is that this is about better rails, and I think Nathan said it as well. We really, if there's a pain point, if you will, for a client, how can these rails enable that? So from our perspective at BNY, what we're really focusing on is how do we enable the stable coins to actually save our clients money, to create better, cheaper, faster ways, reduction in capital and these efficiencies. So that's one really important thing for our clients. And the second thing is the role we play in this central position. Our vision is that by being the custodian and the enabler and manager in some cases for the treasuries of these stable coins, we can ultimately, in a future state, interoperate between all of them. And that interoperability, imagine a world where you have treasuries.
Wait a minute, who's been talking about interoperability for the last decade?
Treasuries in one stable and treasuries in another, all sitting at BNY. It's a book entry in many ways. The question is, how do you have 24/7 treasuries? Or if you have a cash account and a cash account, enabling between inside BNY for the tokens to move 24/7 and the underlyings to move 24/7, that's what we're focused on. So what we're comfortable with is enabling our clients who are stablecoin issuers, who are settlers of transactions. We have 55 trillion in assets in custody. Imagine if all of those wanted to trade on blockchain within the BNY network or outside. That whole system, if you will.
You know, the BNY network, the walled garden, or like David Schwartz said a long time ago, so imagine these walled gardens and then you lower the wall. You need something to bridge that to the next financial institution or the next country.
Can be enabled through BNY. And that's what we're focused on. So hopefully that explains it. But imagine if there are loads of stable coins and everything could just move in ledger within BNY from treasury to treasury to treasury, from one to the next. That's what we're focused on. That's what we're trying to help, and to scale stable coins and then yielding coins, if you will. So Carlos brought up a product that exists that's yielding of stable coin. It's the same investment guidelines as a stable coin, but actually gives yield. So imagine just going back and forth, checking account, savings account, checking account, savings account. Ultimately, we would love to be able to do that for the system, and that's how we're comfortable.
There you go. This is the ETF guy. Spot crypto ETF Floodgates appears set to open in the next 2 months. XRP, Sol, Litecoin, etc. Full regulatory framework should be in place for spot crypto ETFs, spot ETF staking approval any day now, in my opinion. Clarity Act now in the Senate. Remainder of year should be wild. You're darn right it's going to be wild. Then we got Gemini doing XRP teases. The next, with a big X, era of rewards with an R, big R, is preparing with a big P to launch XRP. And then here's our Congress, who is all in. Now, he's making a good point here. You got to have legislation. All that crypto, and this is what I keep telling you, all that crypto has been for the last decade, that's why you have a fake market. All the money flowed to Bitcoin and Ethereum because those two, all of the people that were in power for the last decade all agreed Bitcoin's a commodity. It didn't have legal clarity, but they intentionally telegraphed to the market that Bitcoin was a commodity all by itself. Then after the Bill Hinman speech, they telegraphed to you that we think ETH's a commodity too. So those two sucked up most of the money because they had this fake regulatory clarity, and they either wouldn't say anything about the others or they went after the others. And then we busted ETHgate wide open, and Ethereum almost became a target, but they just couldn't. They wanted to make it look like they were going after it a little bit, but they never really did because we had put them in a spot. But what he's saying is 1,000% right. What you have to have is you've got to have it passed by Congress. And the Clarity Act, once the Clarity Act's passed by Congress, you have a level playing field. There is no more of this giving the market the idea that these two are special in some way. Then it's a level playing field, and he's making a good point.
So when I talked about the team earlier, I know we're running out of time. When I talked about the team earlier, a couple really important points. You think about the administration, you got Paul Atkins over there, we have Slacks over there, we now have at the Fed Mickey Bowman, who's over there, and then you have people like me and French Hill in the Senate and the House running our committees. We now have a team that's leaning in, and we feel like we have to get it done now. Executive action is not enough, period. If one president hated it, this one loves it, we need a Senate and a House that gets legislation passed.
Yes, sir. And then here is another congressman. I can't remember his name, but he's a congressman.
The bill better, it'd make the bill worse. What we have is a solid piece of legislation that I'm hopeful the Senate moves on quickly. The president has been pretty clear on this. He wants the Senate to move on this. This is the second of two pieces of President Trump's digital assets agenda. I'm bullish that the Senate's going to pick this up in September. There may be changes to the legislation, but I think the core underlying framework is so solid, in the support that we had in the House proves that I'm hopeful that they bring this up, make amendments if they need to, but let's get this all the way across the line quickly.
Now the Senate is also working on its own version.
Okay, and then here's the SEC chairman.
So the good thing is we have a president who has thrown down the gauntlet. I mean, he's not shrinking from this, and he understands the importance of it. He said it many times himself, even before he got into office here most recently. So, he wants to make America, the world running on American technology, and make America, the crypto capital of the world. So that's a pretty, that's a pretty good goal, I think, and a challenging one. So we at the SEC, in our little patch, it's an important patch of it, need to be forward-thinking, and again, with this President's Working Group and David Sachs and Bill Hines, who are leading that, I think that's been in Treasury that has taken the pen to it. I think that's great. Has written down a whole, we've forged a whole bunch of to-dos from that. And so we'll be, attacking that, and already are. So as we go on, there are a lot of questions to be answered. And so I'm, salute the work of the folks in Congress who have, passed the Genius Act, which was great. Hallelujah. I mean, that really is a seminal step for the United States Congress and the government.
Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, which is the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join below any of these videos. If you'd rather join through X, you can hit subscribe. Today we're going to talk about we're going to show you the only thing you need to see today about Ripple. We're also going to talk about the Floodgates opening. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.